Hey, it's Sunday, April 12th, 2026, and looking out my window, but this is just kind of a vlog type of video, and it's about the state of affairs in the world and in the US. I just think the world is going to shit. Why do I think that? Because I'm driving around. I live in Southern California. I live in the valley, in one of the valleys. There's two valleys. And I'm driving around. I'm seeing fucking 750 a gallon of gasoline, unleaded, 81 octane. And I drive a V6, so my car just fucking eats gas. And because I live in the valley, I have to use my AC 80% of the year. 80% of the year. And it's totally global warming, just as a side point, because when I was growing up in SoCal, we only needed to use the AC maybe like a month out of the year. It wasn't this hot. This summer it's gonna get to be like in the hundreds and 105 and what have you. And I've lived in the Northern Valley where it's regularly 105 to 110 for the entirety of the summer. Anyway, I'm kind of talking quietly because my partner's, she's working and she might just interrupt me. But anyways, just the price of gas and groceries and but mostly gas. Like, how are people supposed to live? I mean, I'm kind of lucky in that I work in an office. I'm kind of older, so I graduated high school in like 2005 or 2006. So I'm kind of an older millennial. Was born in the late to mid 80s. And I'm kind of lucky that I have a good paying job and what have you. But if I were to lose the job, where the fuck would I be? You know? And just 2 weeks ago, I had to go to the emergency room. Luckily, I was employed and I have insurance, but I had to go to the emergency room because I had sudden hearing loss in one ear. And then they put me on prednisone 60 milligrams, which has been fucking with my head for the last week. But yeah, we were just out yesterday at the mall. We watched a movie. We watched Project Hail Mary, which I read the book, and the book's better, but the movie's pretty good. Anyway, just the price of gas. Like, I'm not even a political person, really. I don't care about the Democrats, about the Republicans. I don't give a shit. But, if I'm so worried to make a video about it, it's like shit. It must be really bad for people who are not making as much money or who are political, and there's going to be massive political fallout. And we all know it's because of the stupid war that nobody has any idea why it was started, why it's still going on, why we can't just shut it down. But yeah, the state of the world is very hard to be optimistic right now. The only things I'm optimistic about are my loved ones, my family, and my partner, and that's it. It's just crushing. Like, I follow this channel called the Functional Melancholic, I think, and he puts out videos almost every few days, and they're extremely depressing. But he's on point. He's right about everything. He's right about the world, the way our society in the U.S. has turned to shit. It really has. So I'm a '90s kid. I grew up in the early '90s. There was MTV. There was Nickelodeon. And those were amazing times. And my parents were immigrants, and they fucking shot up the social mobility ladder. I don't think it's possible in this day and age. I just don't think it's possible. I'm kind of lucky that I'm just under 40 years old, so I've been working for a while. So I've already kind of grandfathered in my retirement, my real property assets, what have you, my investments. But what about the younger people? What about people age 30? My partner's 30. Their generation is kind of screwed, And, she works at an extremely intense, high-level job. And it's extremely hard work. The compensation just isn't there. And it's kind of, I just think since the pandemic up till now, the cost of living crisis in the United States is just massive. You have exceptions like electronics. I just got a monitor for like $300, 4K, 120 hertz, 32 inches, and that I paid $800 for the same monitor at 60 hertz back in 2018. So there are certain exceptions. Electronics are cheaper and what have you, but yeah, it's getting real bad. And again, there's going to be a massive political fallout. As far as 2028, I'm from California. I've lived in California since I was 14. Before that, I lived in Texas when it was a blue state. That tells you how old I am. But yeah, 2028, don't vote for Gavin Newsom. He's a fucking empty suit. He's done nothing for us in California. The only good thing he's done is put a moratorium on the death penalty. And that's only if you have like actual political feelings or strong feelings about the death penalty, which I do. I'm against it, by the way. That's the only good thing he did. He didn't give us high-speed rail like he promised. We got shit for high-speed rail. He did nothing about the homelessness crisis or affordable housing. He did nothing. And his excuse is, oh, my hands are tied. There's too many vested interests. Well, you're the fucking governor. You can do something about it. So he's not a good candidate for the Democrats. I don't know who the Republicans will put up. I've voted both Republican and Democrat. I voted for George Bush against John Kerry. I think I voted for Mitt Romney or Barack Obama. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're kind of two sides of the same coin. And so this has got to be fixed. Otherwise, people are going to just not be able to survive. I mean, there's already a food bank shortage crisis for food. Just imagine like $7.50 gasoline in California, which means it would be around $5 in Texas, maybe $4 in Iowa. I'm just throwing out numbers, but yeah, it's insane, and it's because I like watching a lot of personal blogs about people having, going through emotional issues, personal issues, and the majority of these personal blogs relate to the cost of living and relate to wage slavery, basically, which we all are. You're not wealthy unless you can not work and still live a good life. If you have to work, then you're part of the working class, middle class, whatever. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents.